Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on Cambridge curriculum and its prospects. On behalf of Craftworld School, it's my privilege to invite the speaker, teachers, parents, and students to today's webinar. No bags, no burning homework, no school bells, no stress on conventional test patterns. Here comes a school with a difference, an innovative attempt to work with children to inspire them to become self-reliant learners, nurture their talents and equip them with the skills and values that will empower them to become self-confident and well-rounded individuals. With the state-of-the-art learning technologies introduced to our young learners, they are empowered to make responsible decisions when they break out of the cocoon and walk into the real world. Craftworld School provides every child access to a happy and welcoming community focused on learning in a stimulating and rich environment. At Craftworld School, learning goes beyond just academics. We inspire children to explore the world around them and push them to reach their full potential than focusing on conventional teaching methods. We promise that every child who becomes a part of the craft community will walk out as a lifelong learner, having enjoyed an enriching and happy childhood. I'm Bindu Menon, PR and training consultant of Craft Education Trust, and it's my pleasure to be the moderator of the session. Our speaker for the day is Mr. Dilip Kottapadath, Regional Manager, International Education, Cambridge University Press and Assessment. Just a quick look at the agenda. We will start the session with a welcome speech, followed by an overview on Craftworld School, speaker slot, Q&A, and then to the feedback slot, which will be followed by vote of thanks and then session wrap-up. Now, may I invite Advocate Mr. C. A. Majid, Managing Trustee, Craftworld School, Craftworld Foundation, to deliver the welcome address, please. So,
today we have gathered at the second series of the Craftworld School Knowledge Hub. Craftworld School is now an officially accredited Cambridge International School with students from different nationalities. The diversity of the students is one of our greatest strengths. At our school, we focus to strengthen the students and teacher leaders for the future, and we celebrate all diverse learners flourished unique way. We are the only international school following Cambridge curriculum from nursery and kindergarten level at Kochi. Though our school students are flying to great heights and to an unimaginable world of opportunities and ambitions. To officially set up this remarkable journey and the infinite opportunities Cambridge curriculum leads to, and to address the queries of our parent community, we have with us Mr. Dilip Kottapadath, Regional Manager, International Education, Cambridge University Press and Assessment. Mr. Dilip was the inspiration to achieve our goal by giving all necessary guidance and support. Really, we are indebted to him, and on behalf of Craftworld School and all gathered here, I welcome Mr. Dilip to this webinar session. I welcome all of you for the patronage. Let us join with Mr. Dilip on this incredible journey. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now may I invite Ms. Mridula Praveen, Principal, Craftworld School, to give an overview on Craftworld School, please.
Thank you, Ms. Bindu. A very good evening, everyone. Thank you, Majid sir, for that warm and delightful welcome and for reminding how far we have reached, explaining the wide possibilities ahead of us. It's an honor and blessing to serve as the principal of Craftworld School since last 6 years and to be a part of it in its budding stage. So without further ado, let me take the privilege to present an overview of this revolutionary temple of knowledge and learning, our very own Craftworld School, a place where childhood matters than anything else, and also a place where we can see more smiles, happiness, and laughter than any other place in the world. So please allow me to share a 2-minute video of ours, which would portray the facts that I just spoke with you.
Craftworld School is the most recent uprising in education in Kochi, Kerala, where children will love to go to school and enjoy their childhood. We are the only international school in Kochi where the globally recognized Cambridge curriculum is followed from the kindergarten level. We don't carry heavy bags, and our school don't ring any bells. We neither have homework nor we have frequent tests. What we do is learning new things every day through play, games, and so much interesting activities. We are picked up from our own homes and dropped back safely in the evening. What we eat and drink is from our own school kitchen, where the food is healthy and very yummy. We have a variety of extracurriculars, including field trips, art and craft classes, music and dance sessions, and the delicious culinary lessons. Some days we learn life skills, and some days we learn photography, and sometimes even magic. Every week we get trained in martial arts and yoga, and we learn to speak French and German. And that is how we unlock our superpowers. Come, join us for a happy and memorable learning. Welcome to Craftworld School.
Yes, there we are, witnessing some joyful moments of children's lives at Craftworld School. I do have a short presentation for you to give you an overview. Yes. So Craftworld School is a purely inclusive, vibrant school located in the heart of the bustling town of Cochin, Kerala, India. Since its inception in 2015, our school has reached its paramount phase today by achieving the accreditation of the globally recognized Cambridge programs by Cambridge Assessment International Education, which is said as CAIE in short. Yes, here are our mottos. Our motto is to unlock the superpowers in children by inspiring them to become self-reliant learners, nurturing their talents and interests, and empowering them with skills to become self-confident and well-rounded individuals. Craftworld School provides every child access to a happy and welcoming community focused on learning in a stimulating and rich environment. So at our school, we offer 3 programs currently: Cambridge Early Years, Cambridge Primary with Cambridge Primary Checkpoint, and Cambridge Lower Secondary with Lower Secondary Checkpoint. So why Cambridge? Cambridge education is an umbrella term used for the curriculum that is designed by the Cambridge Assessment International Education, or CAIE. Recognized worldwide, the curriculum provides education to the category of students from 3 to 19 years of age. It provides the school with the choice of designing the curriculum from a broad range of subjects, keeping in mind the country's ethos, culture, and traditions. It aspires to provide the kind of education that generates curiosity in the students, develop a desire for learning, and provide them the chance to move in the direction where they discover new possibilities and also develop varied skills. So these are the top 10 reasons to choose the Cambridge pathway. As you can see, the success, flexibility, future skills, development, choice of subjects, global recognition, and preparation of students for global admissions, the training they provide to teachers, and also the global presence of these institutions, and the grand heritage. These are the 10 reasons why we choose the Cambridge pathway. So let me shed some light on these various levels and the salient features of this our global board. The qualifications provided by the Cambridge board on different levels are recognized by universities, other educational institutions, as well as employers around the world. So this curriculum is divided into 5 levels, which provides education to early years. You can see here it is in the purple, Cambridge early years. And we have Cambridge primary, we have Cambridge lower secondary and upper secondary, then reaching it to Cambridge advanced. So this early years is for 3 to 6-year-olds. Primary is for 5 to 11-year-olds. Lower secondary is for 11 to 14 years old. Upper secondary is for 14 to 16 years old. And the pre-university is for 16 to 19-year-olds. So each syllabus actually adopts a spiral approach building on previous learning to help advance students' study in the curriculum. It reflects the latest thinking in each subject area, drawn from expert international research and consultation with schools. It encourages students to develop higher order thinking skills, problem solving, critical thinking, independent research, collaboration, and presenting arguments. These are the transferable skills that will last a lifetime, preparing students for their future lives. They also making learning enjoyable and rewarding. So talking about early years, it's a program that gives children aged 3 to 6 years a solid foundation as they start their educational journey. It's designed specially to meet the needs of young learners in India and is based on the international best practice. So this program is in line with the new education policy, NEP 2020, and offers a rounded approach that focuses on physical, cognitive, language, and communication, social and emotional development. Teaching and learning is play-based and child-centered and builds learners' skills and confidence in key developmental areas. And this program provides a solid foundation that young students can build on as they progress in their education. It prepares children for transition to primary school across educational boards, helping them move from play-based learning to more formal learning. In addition to this, Cambridge Early Years Centers have access to a range of fun resources, making the whole curriculum engaging and also aligned with the national and state curriculum. So teachers have the flexibility to select resources to suit their learners and context. And here comes the primary and lower secondary curriculum. This curriculum of the Cambridge board at this level imparts knowledge and develops skills in 10 subjects with a special focus on mathematics, English, and science. So students or learners can choose any of the 10 subjects in any combination, which is not available in any of the other curriculum. So with most of the schools using the primary or lower secondary progression test to assess the performance of students, there is also Cambridge primary and lower secondary checkpoint assessment technique as well, which is marked externally by the examiners from Cambridge itself. That will be detailed later in this meeting. And upper secondary Cambridge, which is not really doing now currently at the school, is actually divided into 2 parts. So I'll just give you information regarding it in just 2 sentences. It is Cambridge O-Levels or IGCSE. The General Certificate of Secondary Education actually offers 70 subjects at 70 subjects of choice and over 55 subjects at Cambridge International AS and A-Levels. These are the Cambridge learner attributes once they get professionally qualified by the Cambridge qualifications. Thus, an education founded on these attributes inspires in students a love of learning that leads to success in the classroom, in the examination, in their careers, and later in their own lives. It empowers young learners to make responsible decisions when they break out of their cocoon and walk into the real world, confident, responsible, reflective, innovative, and engaged. So that's a nutshell about the curriculum. And coming to the overview of our school, just want to tell you, start with the big no's that we started with, and the whole conception is based on these big no's of our school. So our school's walls are permeable, and so learning is not restricted in classrooms. And our school's vision and ethics are carefully thought through and framed according to the needs of each learner and each parent. So basically, these are the few no's with which our school's most concepts are based on. No heavy bags, no bells, no homework, no monthly tests, no competitions, no one-child celebrations, no so-called shadow teachers, no rote memorization, no row seating arrangement, and no book and board only learning. So we have a team here that worked tirelessly to ensure that these visions are achieved and accomplished with no compromising quality. And these are the salient features, few of them, which are convenient school timings, which is from 10 to 3:30, 15:1 teacher-student ratio, roundtable seating, and individualized instructions, air-conditioned classrooms and air-conditioned transportation, healthy and nutritious meals, and also door-to-door transportation. And talking about academics, we do follow the 5 core subjects that we just now spoke with you about, the 10 choice of subjects that's available for Cambridge primary and lower secondary. And in our school, what we have chosen is English, science, mathematics, ICT starters, and global perspectives. And we do have social studies, which is framed according to our nation's ethos and culture. And what we follow are the real Cambridge endorsed textbooks. And these are the extracurriculars that we call as beyond academics. We do have weekly art and craft sessions, music and dance classes. Wednesday is fully dedicated as a physical education day, where we teach this martial arts, yoga, meditation. We do have a weekly workshop on Hindi and Malayalam, and lessons on life skills and crisis management. We have foreign language options for French and German. We do have photography and magic skill sessions as well, culinary sessions, which actually makes children more engaging and interested. We do have theme-based field trips. Usually it's a month, we do it on a monthly basis, and quarterly health checkups. Along with that, we do provide some international workshops as well. These are the main events that used to happen across the academic year. We do have annual days where children will be participating. All children will be having a stage presence. We have sports day where we don't have a victory stand or the places for ranks 1, 2, or 3. Children will be appreciated for what they have gained as points, and we'll be recognizing each and every child who participated in the event. We do have monsoon festival, which is also called rain dance, where children will be allowed to play in the rain during the monsoon, the 3 months season. We have art and craft festival where they can unfold their creativity. Along with that, for inculcating leadership attributes, we do have investiture ceremonies. And we have, even though we provide healthy and nutritious meals every day, we do have a food day potluck where we conduct this potluck party on the World Food Day, where children can bring their own food from their homes and can share with the whole schoolmates. We have music and dance festival, we have school picnics, and we do celebrate all the religious festivals like Onam, Eid, and Christmas. And we do have school spirit days like Sunglasses Day, Flowers Day, Pajama days, something like which makes actually children feel like they have that urge to come to school, at least so that they can bring their toys, their whatever their favorite things are at home. And we do have convocations, kindergarten and primary convocations. And thus, we have reached the end of the slide. Just want to remind you all that we don't manufacture robots. We don't create first rank holders. Instead, we preserve each learner's uniqueness and creativity, empowering them to make responsible decisions when they break out of their cocoon and walk into the real world. We provide a holistic education through training of heads, hearts, and hands, providing ample opportunity for the little ones to engage in a wide range of learning activities for their self-growth, for becoming their best of themselves. So the thrust is to inculcate a positive approach towards their own life and also towards the living things, the other living things on the planet. So I'd like to take you all through a 3D walkthrough of our proposed building, which inculcates all the spirit of school through its well-designed architecture.
Craftworld School is the latest revolution in education where kids will love to go to school and enjoy their childhood. We are the only international school in Cochin where the most sought after and globally recognized Cambridge IGCSE curriculum is followed from the preschool level.
The new school campus is proposed at Thurrock, in 2 acres of land. Planning and design approaches to craft interesting areas.
Our learning methods at Craftworld School are eco-friendly and we employ a learn-by-play method, making learning stress-free for both our students and their parents.
We promise happy and fun-filled learning without any hassles of school bags, school bells, homework and monthly tests.
We believe that every place is a place to learn, and the school architecture influences the learning environment and overall student development. Keeping this in mind, we have conceptualized the building as an educational tool by itself. It is designed to be an inviting, approachable, and a home-like environment. Individualized education plans with special care and attention given to each student.
Facilities include spacious and well-ventilated classrooms,
Art studio and media room. Inspiring idea rooms. Enriching ponder zones. And a well-facilitated kids' gym. The spatial organization supports learning inside and outside the classrooms, and encourage children to use the school spaces in open-minded and unorthodox ways. Our programs trigger thought-inspired learning rather than just forced memorization. By adopting a world-class international curriculum, we promote knowledge revolution that opens up broader universal thinking.
Every interior and exterior space is a potential place for learning.
Fully covered, safe, and hygienic swimming pool.
Concept learning and application-based teaching methods are adapted rather than plain memorization of facts and ideas.
At Craftworld School, we have a comfortable school timing from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Maximum number of 15 students in a class. Nursing care in school with medical facilities and routine health checks of all students.
Daily sessions of extracurricular activities. A full day dedicated for physical education. One of our specialities is our exclusive dining hall. 3 freshly prepared, healthy meals is provided to every student from our most modern commercial in-house kitchen.
Separate and fully furnished kindergarten block with large secured courtyard and play area.
Their rear yard of school is with nature-based play areas. Half basketball court. Open stage and assembly point. Cycle tracks. Outdoor sports area and artificial turf football field.
These include organic fishing pond, well-nurtured vegetable, medicinal garden, and well-managed pets corner.
Thanks for watching. So let's play our parts together and let's build men and women from the scratch who will build the living solutions to themselves, their families, the nation and the world long after they have even gone. And we promise that each and every child who becomes a part of Craftworld School will walk out with a lasting smile on their young faces. So thank you all and wish you all a great night ahead. Over to Ms. Bindu.
Thank you, Ms. Mridula, for that elaborate, I would say, overview on the school, the Cambridge pathway, the details in the recognition, preparation, and then the focus, on the curriculum, learning attributes, and then for taking the audience, the wonderful audience, through the school tour. School looks wonderful, by the way. Yeah, right. And then now over to the topic. Craftworld Knowledge Series webinar are a great way for teachers, parents, and students to stay up to date with the latest developments and to interact with subject matter experts. In this webinar on Cambridge education and its prospects, we will take you through invaluable information about the curriculum, the infinite opportunities it leads to the global scenario, unique teaching methods, and student engagement, and how Cambridge school teachers best adapt to new ways of innovative teaching, etc. Now may I invite a speaker for the day, Mr. Dilip Kottapadath, Regional Manager, International Education, Cambridge University Press and Assessment. Mr. Dilip is experienced in various facets of business management and exceptionally well versed in performance improvement, change management, digital innovation, and curriculum advice for schools, from FMCG to automobile to events, and with a sales set in the education industry for about 6 years now as regional manager, international education. Mr. Dilip is also very interesting, a paragliding pilot, handball player, and a wonderful father. Over to Mr. Dilip, please.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, please, very much.
Great.
Thank you.
So thank you for the very humble introduction. I guess I should ask my wife and my daughter whether I'm a good father. So they should probably rank me. But before they could, I thought I will have it added to my profile myself. So that's been a wonderful thing that happened to me, and I'm sure most of us, that we were able to spend a lot of time with our children during the pandemic. So though all of us are worried, and some of us would have lost our beloved ones, but on the other side, something that we could be happy about is that we got some good time that we could spend with our family. And while that was on the other, on one side, the other side, the craft team was extensively working with me to ensure that they go through the registration process, meet the criteria, and a whole lot of things had to be redone, and new things had to be brought in place, and new initiatives had to be started to ensure that the school meets the required criteria. um, uh, what If you ask me what got me excited is the commitment of the senior management and the team, that though they know that certain things are a little far-fetched, they took the initiative to ensure that to whatever extent that they could go, they were able to make that available for us, to ensure that they meet some of these requirements, that they need to. And uh, if you visit the campus, if you see the school, you could see that they have kind of modified various things to ensure that they are able to accommodate our quality standard. But I wouldn't say that they're already there, because any school, for that reason, however big they are, they still have a long way to go, because these are things that that schools need to work on. And for craft, I think in about a year's time they would move to their new campus, which will have all the facilities that a student can enjoy. But for now, I think we may probably get into a hybrid schooling, and I think sometime in November or December, the state government has allowed schools to students to come back to school. So even then, we may have we may not have a regular schooling like what we had before the pandemic. So we may have a few days in school and few days online. But by the coming academic year, which is the 22-23, I hope we'll be able to move to the new campus with a complete approval to run, let's say, not only the primary and lower secondary, but also the higher stages in there. So the team is towards the last leg of completing the whole process. So I think probably in the next few week or so, they'll complete all the legal formalities, and get the documents and sign, and then I think it will take about another 3 to 4 weeks for them to get the official plaque and the certificate from us, which will be sent from Cambridge. So once they have it there prominently displayed in the school, so the school has the approval to run the early years, the Cambridge primary, and the lower secondary. So once, I think by the time they are in the new campus, they'll also have their secure storage ready, so they'll be eligible to allow students to take the checkpoint exams as well. As far as early years is concerned, because the evaluation is done online, so you may not need a provision to store question papers, so that's taken care of. And The number of international schools in Kerala is it's quite it's an interesting thing to note, because if you look at any state in the southern part of the country, if I could take aside an example, every other state has a whole lot of international school compared to Kerala. But then if you look at the percentage of Keralites, if I could call it that way, or maybe Malayalis staying outside the state, and you compare this to any other state in South India, we top the list. And if you look at the state which the literary table, if you look at it, we stand at the top. But if you look at the international schools in the state, we are probably the last in the list compared to every other state in the region. But over the last 3-4 years, it's quite encouraging, because a lot of progressive schools have approached us to offer the curriculum. Not everyone who applies for to offer the Cambridge program will eventually go through, because I get about 20, approximately about 18 to 20 applications every year. But we have about, let's say the last year I approved about 3 schools in Kerala. So that's the max that we do, even if we get interest expressed by about 18 to 20 schools. So with that being said, we understand and appreciate progressive schools who believe that education is not only with conventional subjects. You have unconventional subjects that you also need to look at, and then have equal emphasis for the co-curricular activities in sports and likewise. So with all that being there, I think I'm so glad to welcome Craftworld School to the state Cambridge family. We have about 18 schools now, including Craftworld schools school in the state. And in the country, if you look at, we have about close to about 700 schools, a little less than 700 schools that we have within the state. So in the last year, we have quite extensively have started working with the various governments within the country, various states. So some of you may have noticed the latest news that we have signed up with the government of Maharashtra, where one of their government schools, they're trying to offer the Cambridge program to try and see if students who normally go to government school get an experience of studying in an international school, to study the Cambridge primary, the lower secondary, the IGCSE, and see how this helps them. Because most often, if you see, the international curriculum is affordable to either the upper middle class or sometimes the elite. But we wanted to try and see if there is a possibility to take it to students who are who normally go to a government school. So we have signed an MOU with the government of Maharashtra. So we will shortly be signing an MOU with the government of Gujarat. We have already signed a contract with the government of Andhra Pradesh with regards to English. So we will soon be signing another MOU for the teacher development and curriculum training. So something like that would, a lot of progressive things in the last 2-3 years that we went through. So with regards to the Cambridge program and the kind of recognition that we enjoy in the country, we are treated at par with any curriculum, be it your the national curriculum, the likes of CBSE or the ICSE, or any state curriculum for that reason. So we have the equivalency from the Association of Indian University, which puts us at the 10+2 level of any Indian curriculum, any approved Indian curriculum. And talk about any let's say competitive exam that I could see some parents are concerned about, that our students do very well in the IIT or the NEET, or our students can participate. Let's say if you talk about the Anna University in Tamil Nadu, they can participate in the Anna University counseling. Many universities within Kerala, if you look at the MG University or the Calicut or the Kannur University or the Kerala Technology University, there are many universities where our students study after finishing their A-levels within Cambridge. Our students not only just get into some of these colleges, but are also high achievers in these colleges. If you, for example, if you take the 2019 topper of the IIT JEE exam in the women's category, that's a Cambridge student from Ahmedabad. And if you look at the NEET exam, we have a lot of students who have cleared NEET and who are right now pursuing medicine. We also have a lot of students, even before NEET came into existence, we have had a lot of students who study within the country. So in the year 2015, normally if you look at it, Cambridge has two exam series in a year. The first one is in the month of May and June, and the second one is in the month of October, November. We realized that if a student appears for an exam in May or June, by the time they get the certificate, it will be sometime in the mid of August. The same with October, November. So if a student has to apply to an Indian university, they have to either prepone their examination to the October, November, so that they get the certificate in hand well in advance before they could apply to undergraduate program in the country, or the May June series doesn't really work. So ideally, the suggestion that we put forward, for my steering team back in Cambridge to consider was to have a to have a series which supports our students. So what we did is we introduced a new series, which is the February-March series. It starts in the beginning of February and goes all the way up till the mid of March. So we started the series in the year 2015, and ever since we started the March series in 2015, close to about 52% of our entries have moved to the Feb-March series, which means technically 50% or more students apply to Indian university once they complete their A-level exam. So which is a very exciting news, because it's not that if you study a program like a curriculum or a program like Cambridge, your options are very limited to international universities. Any universities within the country you can apply to, and almost all leading universities or universities that's very close by or within your state do accept ours too. You need to ensure that the two things that you need to ensure is that your student meets the eligibility criteria and the equivalency criteria. As long as your student meets both, your child will get admission to any university within the country. If you're finding any challenge, or if you have any issues in your child being placed in any let's say colleges within the country because of let's say the equivalency issue, even after you meeting the equivalency issue and the eligibility issue, you can flag it off to my recognitions team. They will work with you to ensure that the student gets the required assistance to be placed in the colleges of their choice. So that's about the curriculum and and our presence in India. And of course, you all would know that Cambridge Assessment International Education, the department that I represent, which affiliates International School, is a direct department of the University of Cambridge, which is a world-renowned university. And we have our own edge when it comes to when our students, when they apply to any university abroad. It's not that they only have to apply to an international university. It's just that when a whole lot of leading universities give them a warm welcome, students sometimes think, okay, should I apply to a top 100 or a top 200 university, university which ranks in the top 200, or should I apply to a university which is probably anywhere below the 500 rank? So that's how it is, because most of our students get good scholarship. They get admission in leading universities around the world, and that's precisely the reason that you see some of our students do study in universities abroad. And particularly if you look at US, some of our students do get credit if you there are specific grades that's mentioned. So if you're a high achiever and you get an A star or an A or a B in certain subjects, then you can apply for credit. And our A-level students, they don't have to do the foundation program like students. Let's say if you do a national curriculum, you are expected to do a foundation program back in the United States, but A-level students, they don't have to. So with that being said, I also would like to highlight this point that earlier in the presentation that Ms. Bindu highlighted, that this is going to be a school of difference where students, they don't have to carry their bags. You may not have homework, and it's not something that focused only on academics, because we as a board, what we believe in is assessment is a part of learning. It's not it shouldn't be the target. You shouldn't prepare your student for assessment. What we believe in that is we believe that learning is for life, and it's a continuous process, and we should continue learning. Like most of us who are here, we may be working for different corporates, or might be self-employed, but I don't think anyone would say I've kind of finished my learning and there's nothing much for me to learn, or there's nothing new to learn. if you think that you have learned everything and there's nothing much for you to learn, then I think you are probably redundant. So we continue learning at whatever stage we are. Even if we are 60 or 80, we got to keep learning. So that's an approach that we take. So we believe that learning is a continuous process, and while we go through the learning process, we need to ensure that students are evaluated at regular intervals. That's the reason why we have checkpoints at grade 6 and grade 8, and we have the IGCSE in grade 10 and the ASNA level, which is 11 and 12, for us to reflect what the student has learned. And precisely that's the reason we have given you 3 different series. Unlike many, if you look at a national curriculum, you only have one series where, if you don't clear that exam, then you'll have to wait for one whole year for you to take that exam again. For us, we have 3 different series where, and the flexibility for your student to, let's say if they've taken 5 subjects and would like to appear, and the student is really good in 2 subjects and would like to have a little more emphasis on 3 subjects. And what the student can do is the student can appear for the first 2 subjects in one series and then focus on the other 3 subjects, let's say in the next series. So that flexibility is there. Let's say if a student appears for an exam and the student did not get the kind of grades that they aim for, then they can sit for another improvement exam and see if they're able to get a better grade, probably the next series, and then use the best grade. So that's another possibility. So by this, what I mean is, right from an early age, at least from grade 10 or grade 12, we need to appreciate that a student has tried to do well in the exam. And if the student is not able to, let's try and see what kind of guidance needs to be given to the student, and allow the child to take the exam once again. And it absolutely doesn't matter if a few months go by, because there are leading universities where when a student goes back and when they inform that this is the reason why, and I wrote an improvement exam, and that's why I took about 6 months, or maybe I took I have come across a lot of students who said I was confused, I didn't know what to do, so I took a break here to try and reflect on what I wanted to do in my life, or the kind of subjects that I would like to choose, and I came back and I did that. Not all of them, but then one or two in some corner would do that, and then they are appreciated because they took time to reflect and then come back and try and do what they wanted. So by this, what I would like to convey is, let's also try and help our children and our students learn some skills which are important, the so-called life skills. And most importantly, let's also help them embrace failure, because that's something that I see these days. Kids are just not able to accept, because I see that a lot of students getting into depression. Frankly, when I was a kid, I wasn't even aware what depression was, because even I had a lot of hardship while growing up. But then I wasn't, because only now when I speak to kids or when I read some article, I understand that the whole lot of students suffer with depression and related and so what I see is as educators, as parents, it's our duty to ensure that we support this child, and we ensure that the child embraces failure. Because if you see anyone who is an innovator or who has created something new, would not have done it in the first spark, would have gone through several set of failures, and then they were able to achieve. And these are the same set of people who are innovative and who are out of the box thinkers. If you are worried about being a failure, then you may not try anything new. You would sit back in your comfort zone and you will continue to do what you're doing. And we also need to help our students be more empathetic, because we see that these days, the most noble profession, some of the doctors that have come across, I don't see them being empathetic, because empathy is something that each doctor should carry as a badge, because they need to show that empathy towards their patient. But then the way that the medical education is commercialized these days, it's quite challenging for doctors. Once they finish their study, they got to come back. They either have a huge huge loan that they need to pay off, or they have their own set of reasons for them to kind of get these things in place, so that they're able to earn that money as quickly as possible. It's no more a service, is what I get to understand. My own personal experience and comments. So I think it's a journey that we are beginning today, and we have a long way to go as a school. So as the teachers, the management, the school leadership, and as a parent. So here, what a success, if you look at it, what makes a school successful, there's a whole lot of things that you can look at, but the most important thing that that helps a school to be successful is the kind of relationship that they have with their parents. So criticism is welcome, but again, those criticisms should be something where you need to be you need to be someone who should be forthcoming to work with the school to try and see, because it's a place where your children are learning. So you need to be you should be someone who should be forthcoming to discuss that with the school management, try and present this to them, work with them to try and see how best you are able to ensure that the place of learning can be further developed to into a much better place. So I think at this point I would like to leave this thought with you, that try and work with the school management as much as possible. So what I have experienced, the management is very warm, and they would love to hear your thoughts and feedback, and would like to have a very supportive parent community. So with that, I think if both parents and the school management work together with the set of amazing teachers that they've got, I'm sure that probably 5 years down the lane, I would see the school, at par with one of those, so-called flagship schools in the state or in the country. So I think my best wishes to all of you. If there's any questions that you would want me to answer, I'm happy to. Otherwise, I'll leave it to Ms. Bindu or Ms. To take it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dilip. What you rightly said was that about failure, all of us are in a rat race, I guess. And maybe that is the reason why nobody wants to, including the parents, they don't want to take failure as, maybe that is what is being, passed on to the students. And when you said that depression as a word, you are hearing it, you haven't heard in your younger days, which is very true, because currently when I'm sitting for the life skill class and things like that, the students actually want someone to talk to. So communication is the thing, and then they want someone to be heard, that feeling that, someone is there to talk to them. That is where time, I would say, is the most precious thing nowadays, which everyone is lacking, and everyone don't want to share it because everyone is running behind something which I really do not know what is there. So having said that, now, and about the constructive criticism, yes, for everything, for a better, way forward, for a better future. Now there are a lot of questions. I would say, inquisitiveness is to know more about the bigger picture and to share. There are a lot of questions which have come in, and then what we've done is we've handpicked a lot of questions, but those handpicked questions were already answered by you. But there are a couple of questions that are left now. One is that how does the new national education policy be integrated in our international curriculum? NEP, how can be integrated in the international curriculum?
Well, it depends on what aspects of NEP that we are referring to, because NEP, if you look at it, it's yet to be finalized, right. And we haven't brought it out as, okay, this is the final set of things that school needs to follow. But if you look at the larger framework of NEP, that's something that Cambridge has been doing for the last 150 years. So that's not new. So we would say that NEP is more of what we already do. If you look at the different stages, if you look at the different assessment, if you look at the kind of flexibility that students need to be offered, we've been doing that for the last 150 years. Particularly my division, if I could reference it. So these are things that we always do, and this is something that the government realized that if a child has to go through a learning journey, this is how it needs to be. So they kind of drafted something which is something like what we already do. So this is what we do around the world, and we've been doing it for many years now. Just that India has adopted this as an NEP right now. So we are already there. So we're not someone who, we don't have to customize anything, because we are exactly what NEP is.
Adding on to this, is there anything which you've got to say about the focus on the first language in the NEP?
The
first language, in the sense like of the NEP is mostly, that's what the focus is more on first language. Yeah.
Yep. So let's say, for example, if you're in grade 10, if you're someone who would like to opt for an ICE award, the International Certificate of Excellence, then you need to have two languages, the first language and the second language. So as a board, we give you a choice of about 40 different languages that you can choose from. And that's an interesting question, because I was part of a steering, committee discussion late this evening on introducing, Malayalam as a language at an IGCSE stage. Very, very initial discussion. I proposed that we should include Malayalam as a language in at least 9 and 10, so that our students get benefited. But I don't know. I mean, if you look at, for example, if you look at Tamil, which we already have as a language in the IGCSE stage, the maximum number of entry doesn't come from Tamil Nadu. If you look at the top 5 or top 6 country from where if you look at if you grade them in the number of entries that you get, Tamil Nadu probably would be at the 5th or the 6th one. But again, Tamil being a language of Tamilians back in Tamil Nadu, we should probably be having the most number of students taking Tamil. But that's not how it is, because they are in the 5th or the 6th rank. And while I was talking about Malayalam, I realized it's so true, because how many students do you think from your school will be happy to take Malayalam if you offer that as a language in grade 10? You may probably have, let's say, because right now when I had a word with a couple of other schools, they said our students are even trying to excuse themselves from Hindi and English, because there's no choice and that is required for their higher education. They are learning they are learning English. Otherwise, they are trying to exclude themselves from Hindi. And because we give that option, that we don't mandate any language that a student has to study, and that's a privilege for some students. They think that okay, Cambridge gives that flexibility, so let me come and do that. So what it means is, I have more number of students who will opt for Malayalam as a language in US, Europe, and in the Middle East than what I'm going to get from Kerala. So I'll be surprised if I hit a 3-digit number in Kerala, but it can be even less. So that's where we stand. But as a board, right now we don't have Malayalam, but we have 40 other languages that we have for you to choose. So you can choose that from grade 9 onwards. And what most schools do is they try and understand what students need to learn at 9 onwards, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And they prepare the student in such a way that when they get into grade 9, they are able to seamlessly move to that stage. So that's what they do.
Fine. Yeah, thank you. And the next question is about global opportunities. You've already answered that. And is it true that Cambridge A-level English score is considered equal to foreign language tests like IELTS and TOEFL? It's another question which is...
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and a common query that keeps coming in. So we need to, let's say, put this into 3 different baskets. The first basket is a set of universities around the world, which for whom you need to prove that you have studied English, and English is a medium of instruction for the last 12 years at least. So if you're able to prove that, the first bucket of universities would be happy to take you in. The second bucket of university would, when you take up a Cambridge IGCSE or an A level, you can request for your English level to be marked to a CFR framework. That's an additional, service that we offer. So if you're taking an English paper, you can request, while you need to indicate that to your exams officer in the school. So the exams officer, while they make entries, they'll ensure that they'll tick this particular box, which would say that the student needs a CEFR, mapping. So what we do is we map it to the CEFR framework, which will say, as per the CEFR framework, what proficiency level the child has. So that's that's a certificate that we provide along with your mark sheet. Now, the second bucket, let's say a bucket of universities or colleges would accept that. Now there is a third one. The third one, though you have the first and second, they still rely on exams like IELTS and TOEFL. So it's part of their admitting criteria, and they're very sure that even if you have the first and the second, you still need the IELTS. There are certain universities, and it's their admitting criteria, so they are well within their rights to set those criteria. So some universities are there. So what students need to do is, student needs to they shouldn't think about this when they are in grade 12. Even if it doesn't matter if you study a national curriculum or a state curriculum, 12th standard or towards the end of 12th standard is not the time for you to think what you want to do in your undergraduation. It is a little late. Ideally, you need to think about this when you move to grade 9, or at least once you finish grade 10, before you choose your group in your 11th and 12th. You need to decide where you want to go to, which are the kind of universities that you would like to apply, what is their eligibility criteria, and what kind of equivalency criteria that I need to meet to apply to that university, and then work backwards.
Fine. And then I think I have a last question which you have not answered. What happens if a student fails in any of the program is one of the questions.
They can write again.
Very simple, right?
So it's just an evaluation of what they have learned. So maybe they may have not learned, or probably they may not have understood the the concept clearly. So for them to just go back, reflect, try and understand how they what they have written, or maybe as a school you can apply for their transcript. Look at the transcript, look at the kind of marking that has happened, and see where the child has not done really well, and then give the kind of support the child requires, and the child can re-attend the exam. There's no limitation, there's no age limit, there is no upper limit that okay, a student can appear for exam only this number of times. Nothing of that sort.
And there is no number of times wherein they can attempt to also, is it? I mean, there is. Fine. It's time for the speaker's feedback, please. There is only one speaker here.
Just can I ask one question, sir?
So please go ahead.
Yeah. See, as you said, no, when I visited Cambridge also, as you said that, as you said, there is a relaxed way of writing exams at your own pace and all. So in an academics, as you said, it is students can write it on their way. So is there any way to, or as you said, there is no restrictions or anything. So is there any programs to help the kid on to complete the things on time or anything? Or because I have seen that people who have gone to Cambridge never goes back like that. They stays there and at their own pace. When I spoke to a lot of people, they takes their own space to place to complete their graduation, everything like that. One thing they said, hey, it's very relaxed. We have our own flexibility to do it, and we enjoy living here as well, like that. That is what. So I'm saying it as even in the academics of school students as well. As you said, there is a little, it is little relaxed. No? So is there any specific programs just to make sure that the kid completes it in time?
See, the program itself, if you look at it, we have certain the way the stages are aligned and the way the classroom intervention or the guided learning are that each of those syllabus. If you take English, there is a guided learning hour. If you take sciences, there is a guided learning hour. So as long as the teacher is able to cover that guided learning hour and then organically give that guided learning hour right from the early years onwards, your student is bound to clear everything within that 10+2 year time. It's so beautifully aligned in such a way that you're able to. Now, what happens is if you suddenly jump now, for example, you're doing something else and you want to suddenly get into a curriculum. Like, for example, I'll tell you, you want your child to, let's say, take sciences, and the child is not really good in science. And we have different sciences that we have to offer. We have combined science, we have coordinated science, we have individual sciences. So you need to decide what you want the child to do. Now, if you know that you want the child to learn sciences, but then you know that the child is not really good in science, give it a try. Try to help them with the subject. But even if you know that the child is not going to do that, then you shouldn't be pushing the child, in a context that only if they take individual sciences, if they don't do, that's the end of the world. No, that's not how it is. We can take coordinated sciences or combined sciences, but having said that, there are certain limitations. Now, if you take combined sciences, then if you want to apply to a medical college, outside India, or sometimes within India, they won't really accept that because combined science is the easiest of the sciences that someone can do. The child may do it very well, but it's going to be challenging when it comes to meeting the eligibility criteria of a particular institution. So looking at the space that needs to be given to a child, we need to ensure that the child has a relaxed learning. So when I say relaxed learning, doesn't mean that you need to give 2 years for the child to complete each of those stages. No. Allow the child to learn whatever the child needs to learn within that stipulated time frame. And if you have to give them some extra time, give them some extra time, which means if your child, instead of taking the, let's say, the Feb-March series, if the child needs 1 more or 2 more months extra, let them take the May-June series. If that possibility is there. And many of our students, what they do is they have, they probably apply for the fall, or they try and see if they're able to do it a little earlier. or if they apply for a private university, some of these private universities understand and appreciate as long as your student is able to tell them why did they have that kind of time frame. Like instead of taking an exam earlier, why did they take an exam after a few months time? So as long as they are able to validate themselves, that is important. If you get, let's say, a world topper or a country topper or a gold medalist, in either your your schooling or your undergraduate program, and if you are really not able to talk what you did, what you learned, or if you're not able to express yourself as to what you want to achieve in life, then there's no use in getting that. So I'm only telling, focus on that. And also, not to give a lot of relaxation. Just because we are giving you that flexibility, just because we are giving you that relaxation, doesn't mean that you should take it completely. Relaxation and flexibility is there if, for example, if a particular child has some special need, if the child suffers with dyslexia, if the child needs some kind of extra support to learn, then of course it's there for you. But it doesn't mean that just because I don't want to do it and I just want to stretch it a little bit, no, it's not there for it didn't really, it won't really help for them to have that relaxed thing. What I recommend normally schools is to go by the guided learning hour, and as long as you are able to follow that and religiously go step by step, each student will be able to complete that. And that's been our experience. Almost all our students who study in our schools around the country, they complete their schooling within that 12 years of school.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Dilip.
Hello.
Hello, Sharon.
No, actually, I'm a student's parent, student's
Okay.
mother.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I want to ask a question to Dilip, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Sir, it's my question that if a child is having some learning disability or dyslexia kind of thing, then and if he needs a time, like if he needs time more than average, like if a class is extending for 1 hour or 45 minutes, and every other kid is doing well in that session, but if that particular child is not able to like learn in that particular time, if he needs more assistance, more help, then what are you planning to, what is your like plan, how to deal with that?
So I think that question is, I think for the school, the head of school to respond, because see, what we do is we give, our curriculum gives space for students, with special needs to, to learn. And when it comes to assessment, also we have special consideration that a school can apply. So let's say, for example, if the child needs some extra time, because the child is not as quick as every other child is, because the child has some special needs. So, we give that extra time for the student to complete the exams. Let's say if the exam is for 2 hours and this child requires another 30 minutes extra, we are happy to provide that time for that particular child to ensure that the child is able to comfortably finish the exam. Now maybe if the child requires, let's say, the way the question paper is printed, because the child has some, let's say, has some issue with their vision, and they're not able to see those smaller text, we can give them a question paper which is which has a very, let's say, longer or bold letters where the student finds it much easier to get on. So we give that flexibility. Our curriculum has that flexibility. Now, as a school, whether the school will be able to support that student or will they be able to accommodate the student and give them the required support is a decision that the school needs to take. And I think Craftworld School appreciates, it's an inclusive school. So I would let the head of school answer that question from the school's perspective, perhaps.
Yeah, thank you, Dilip. Yeah, that's Adwaya's mother. They have been with us since the beginning of this academic year, and I have informed them already that we have been doing, as you said, for the assessments, Cambridge have this kind of accommodations available for children with disabilities or any kind of challenges. The same way in our school also, as we said earlier, we have individualized instructions. We learn how Adwaya learns first, and we'll be introducing each and every topic according to his way of learning. And the teacher will be taking special care, including his medical and cognitive disabilities, and will be having always a connection, coordination with the therapist or the other side of the medical aspect of the child, and we'll be doing our needful. If there was a physical schooling, we used to have all these kind of accommodations, but due to online learning, these are the challenges that actually we go through. But definitely for Adwaya's mother, from school side, we have been doing all the flexible options, and also during the face-to-face schooling also, we'll be doing all this a special way of teaching and individualized instructions as he needs. So once he reaches the checkpoints or maybe the board exams time, we can have all the Cambridge accommodations that just now Mr. Dilip was stating about.
Yeah, and what you can also think about is we have an evaluation metrics that we offer for students right from their early years all the way up to.
Yeah.
So because you offer early years, the initial evaluation is part of it. But then I'm not sure how in which grade the student is. So according to which grade is the student?
Grade 1.
Grade 1. Okay. So as and when the child progresses from grade 1 to grade 2. Allow the student to take the stage. I'll tell you which particular assessment can be mapped to that particular stage. So it's not an assessment per se, but what it does is it's an adaptive test that the student can appear for. It's a very, very comfortable assessment done online, where we ask questions in different areas of what a child needs to be. Let's say for a particular age group, a child should be aware of certain things. So what the test does is the test keeps going on. So as and when you give a right answer, the toughness of the question goes higher. So which means no student will be able to score all the answers right, because at certain point the toughness of the question is so high that it will be way ahead of their comprehension, so they may not be able to answer those questions. But what the assessment does is the assessment evaluates the highest level of what the child knows, and will generate a report and will give you what are the skills that the child already knows. Now, once you generate that report, you can compare that with, what is the requirement as per the particular stage that the child is studying, and what you expect the child to achieve, let's say at the end of this year. And, when a teacher knows this is what the child is aware of, or the child knows, then the child can prepare their teaching learning accordingly, so that it's comfortable for the student to learn what the child needs to learn within that year, so that maybe in the next year or the following year, you will be able to do another reflection to see where they are. So try and utilize evaluation. The Center for Evaluation and Monitoring is an assessment. It's an evaluation services that's being offered. So maybe I'll ask one of my colleagues to get in touch with you, and you can see how it can be.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Dilip. Over to Sharon, please. Ms. Sharon? Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. As we have come to the end of today's webinar, I take this opportunity to express our heartfelt gratitude in words. On behalf of Craftworld School and the entire fraternity, I thank Mr. Dilip, who has spared time from his schedule to grace the session and brief us about the Cambridge curriculum and its prospects. It has been a pleasure to have you with us, sir. I also like to thank our director, Advocate C.A. Majid, our principal, Ms. Mridla Praveen, and Ms. Bindu Menon, the consultant and moderator, for organizing this webinar. I'm also thankful to all our dear parents and teachers who have participated during this session. Once again, I thank you all for your cordial cooperation, and it has been a great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon. Thank you all for joining us today. It has been a wonderful learning experience. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much.